This is the Dog Savant Podcast with your host, Brett Endies.
Hello, welcome. This is the Dog Savant Podcast. I am Brett Endies. I'm your host. This is episode number 33, and today we're going to do a Q&A episode. I've done a few in the past. I myself am a dog trainer. I'm a problem behavior specialist. I also work with puppies, dogs and their owners. That's the most important part of this, is connecting them in their home and their real life situations they share, and this is what this podcast is about. We also talk about subjects such as hunting, life, not really politics, but psychological politics, and we just get into it. So anyone who's been listening, I really appreciate it. Anyone who's been asking questions, sending me your feedback, awesome. Anyone who's new to this, I have other episodes that cover a wide range of, again, mostly dog-related topics, dog behavior topics. Have some guests. We're going to have another guest on in a couple weeks as well. Share, subscribe to this, let everyone know about it. It helps dogs. It helps dogs in the real world. So I figured it could help you too. That's why I put this out here every Monday. So thank you so much. Oh, and also we have a sponsor. If you go on wildzorafoods.com and enter the code THEDOGSAVANT, THEDOGSAVANT, you will save 20% off your first order. And what they are is they are healthy, paleo-friendly, freeze-dried foods. They make meals, they make snacks. They have nice bars that I like to get. They're very healthy and they're delicious. And if you go on their website, wildzorafoods.com, you get 20% off if you enter the code THEDOGSAVANT. So anyway, into the episode. So I saved some of these questions on my phone. Some of them are real-life questions from my actual clients. Some of them are questions that people submit from the podcast or my show, The Untrainables, or just online. But I want to just share some of these real-world type of Q&A situations that might be able to help you if you're listening and you may be struggling with some problems with your dog as well. Okay, so the first question. We have a puppy who is 4 months old, and we are feeding her 3 times a day. Do you recommend we continue to do this, or should we switch to twice a day? What I would recommend is continue to do this, especially a large breed puppy who needs more continual nutrition throughout the day. But then you can go to 2 times a day once the dog's about 6 to 8 months old. But keep it up now for at least a couple more months. And always remember, structure the meal times. Make sure your dog doesn't anticipate food. Make your food times a little bit random. Don't do them right on the clock the same time every day, or your dog starts building this kind of internal anticipation, and it just can lead to a lot of food-related issues. So structure your dog's meals, do it 3 times a day, switch to 2 times a day if you like once the dog's about 6 to 8 months old. Let's see, okay, another question. Okay, my dog barks at me when I ask them to listen to commands, or I start initiating the place training, which I've been told helps establish leadership and structure. Well, it absolutely does, because this is what I teach my clients in the real world too. However, you have to make sure, because a lot of times when you're starting a training plan, there's been some habits formed both in everyday life and how they interact with you or other people around them in certain situations, but they also have a relationship with you that has to change. So you can't train your dog, even if you train them well and consistently, and then later that day baby them, let them get away with breaking the rules. So you really have to be, at least for, I always tell people 2 to 4 weeks minimum, very consistent with a lot of structure, your dog having to work for all of their needs, everything on your terms, everything in order, not letting the dog rush up to your personal space, not letting them on the furniture, feeding them in a certain order, going through doors first, walking them in a structured way. Very full spectrum, especially if you're dealing with dogs that struggle with some real behavior problems like reactivity, aggression, separation anxiety. You've got to be really thorough if you're going to fix this. That's why most dog training fails. It's because it ends up focusing on just the actual problem, or avoids the problem altogether and just waits for it to stop and then rewards it, and there's never any kind of resolution to it long term. You want to get to why these dogs do what they do and resolve the issues. I have many podcasts talking about it, but in a nutshell, a dog will bark at you or feel that they have to even wake you up in the morning to get the day going because there's this over-anticipation. There's always, I always talk about this, waiting for the next shoe of life to fall. And we have to teach a dog to just go with the flow more, to be more relaxed, more calm, more accepting life on your terms. So hope that helps. That was actually a client, so I hope you're watching this and Hopefully this reiterates the way I answered your question earlier. All right, let's see. We have some other ones here. Okay, this is a rough one. I have a crate for my puppy, and I'm going through all the steps of potty training that it says to do online, and my local trainer has been instructing me. However, he is still peeing in his crate. No matter what I do, when he gets excited, he pees, and he doesn't mind even rolling around in it. What am I supposed to do if he doesn't do what normal puppies do? Yeah, I remember that one because that's a very common question, and it's very challenging as a dog trainer because usually if you just use the proper tool and teach the owner to apply it consistently, you'll eventually fix a problem, especially something straightforward like potty training, because most dogs, even puppies, will hold it in a small space, or even if you keep them in a place or a small room on a leash, it tends to get them to wait it out till they are outside and have the right opportunity and space to go to the bathroom. And we've done many podcasts, videos, talks, writings on potty training, puppy training as well, if you want to look back into more details on that. But anyway, first you want to rule out any medical issues, okay? So a lot of these dogs will be peeing or even pooping in their crate because there's something going on internally that isn't training-based. So you have to always resolve that first. And if it is something you need to accommodate, you take the puppy out more frequently until you get that figured out. Also, you want to make sure you're not giving mixed messages. You don't want to put pee pads in the crate. Sometimes even bedding in a crate can seem like something they can absorb the urine in, or they can cover it up. Even like go on a pee pad and then like stand away from it. Something in their mind that they're making the crate stay clean while still being able to accomplish going to the bathroom in it. You don't want that either. So you have to, make sure the crate's the right size, make sure the bedding is proper, or even no bedding initially, just to test it to see where your puppy's at or your adult dog is at. A lot of these dogs, though, once you've dialed all that in, it's because they're becoming so overstimulated, which I talk about all the time, by both when they're out of the crate and the activities going on around them when they are in the crate. A lot of these dogs, like I was talking about before, the puppy that's the dog that's barking, they just feel like they need to have everything on their terms, and when a human asks them to do something, that's hard for them to accept. And dogs, it's a better way of life for them to let us guide them because we buy the dog food and we're taking care of them. We provide the shelter. So all they have to do is just relax. And some dogs are very intelligent, very sensitive to change and transition, and agenda-minded. And we have to teach them how to relax, how to accept things on your terms, but also in a calmer way to get their needs met because we know we're going to take care of them. They don't have to be so impatient, and that's something we shouldn't feed into, or you're going to get a dog that is always reacting to things that they're not able to be part of. And that's where a lot of these dogs, I see this in a lot of families with dogs that have puppies with children, where they're getting so revved up when they're in and out of the crate, it's just they can't hold themselves. It's just like puppies or dogs that'll piddle when they meet people. They're getting so overstimulated, teamed up with not learning proper bladder control by not having a good potty training regimen, and they end up, they're fine until there's just something too exciting where they can't hold their faculties. And that really, a dog should learn how to hold that ability, to not pee, not go to the bathroom over an extended period of time despite what's going on around them, like you're building a muscle. And that's where the crate helps. And I won't get into it, but I have plenty of information, podcast videos on potty training that you might want to look into if this is something you're struggling with. But you have to rule out what's causing it. So if your dog is getting too stimulated, you have to go back to some basic training, some leadership training, structured training, so the dog feels when they're out of the crate, there's some order, so the crate is something that they can feel is not taking them out of their agenda that's working, just zipping around the house too independently. Puppies need a little more order, and then the freedom gets earned as they can handle all those options. So, really, again, you have to kind of take it down from, well, if it's a medical thing, we can't address training yet. Well, that's done. The crate is going to be your best tool to teach a dog instinctively to hold it in a smaller space. So let's make sure that's properly dialed in. And then if it's still the dog is going in their crate, we have to rule out things like why they're getting so overstimulated they just can't stay conscious enough to hold it once they're in a place that, as we know, most dogs will hold it in a smaller space. You want to make sure the food is nutritious. You want to make sure they're not drinking too much water. All these little details. You just want to get everything dialed in so you can figure out what the root cause is and address it so your dog can progress, because your dog's got to learn to go outside and hold it for a specific period of time and stay clean indoors while they're waiting to go outside again. So work on that. And let's see, we'll do one more question, and then I have a point that I want to make, as I want to talk about here. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I just got a text from a client. Let's do it. This is a real-time client with a video. So, okay. Greetings, Brett. I don't want to say names for the sake of anonymity, so, but I will use, what a good coincidence. Okay. Both dogs are doing really well. In particular, So is the name. I'm making up the name of the dog I'm talking about. Has made amazing progress in just a few days. I did have one question about crate training. There we go, as we're talking about it. I'm attaching a video of a little tantrum she had last night as we were hoping she would go to sleep. She mostly seems like the crate during the day, and has no problem in it whatsoever. But last night she kind of freaked out a little bit. I basically let her throw a tantrum and ignored her. I just wanted to check with you to make sure that this is the right approach when she does stuff like this, which hopefully not be often. Many thanks. Okay. I'm going to voice record this because this is going to be my organic response to my client. Period. So the reason why dogs will resist the crate at sometimes is because they're used to being independent. Like I was just saying, at times where the crate is the only order that they feel, and they should learn that it's not the worst thing as long as their needs are met and they get enough movement, exercise, and attention when they're out of it and throughout the day. It doesn't always have to happen when they feel it has to. What I'm assuming is that because it is really good that she is accepting the training and the order in the crate throughout the waking hours. At night, there might be where she is either used to being on the bed or used to being in another space, or just used to getting more of her own agenda to work and anticipating or maybe patrolling the house overnight during these times. So the crate is something that she feels this isn't a time or place where I can resist. And since I know we had just met a couple days ago, if you give it some more time and continue to remain consistent throughout the waking hours, she should start learning to accept the crate. Something just as a simple logistical. I got to get this voice text to catch up with me for them. See, you guys in this podcast, you know how much you're helping me. Last time it was the book, and now you're helping me answer my client questions. I'm going to have to do a lot of typo corrections here, though. One other quick fix, I'm going to just reiterate that, is to put the crate in the bedroom or whatever room you're putting it in overnight if it's not a space where she normally goes during the day, just to get her used to that one room. Dogs are very black and white specific when they learn or accept something, so they can learn to be fine with something in one room, for instance, but in another one they might have a challenge. So try all these things, even feeding her in the crate in the room, or just doing more mock-ups where you can have her in the crate and then go lay down. But really, from what it sounds like, if she's improving it, even after a couple days of us getting started, she'll just continue to accept it if you can just deal with a couple nights of inconvenience. Okay, well that's great. So that hopefully helped you guys too, because a lot of people, their dogs not so much will pee in the crate, but have a lot of just resistance to it, or resistance at certain times. And there are some ways that you just have to acclimate them. Other ways they have to learn to accept the inability to make a move independently because you're leading them through life when they are out of the crate. Usually place training and leadership training will help with that, at least initially when you're starting a training and behavior protocol or rehabilitation program. Okay, so that was that. That's good 3 questions Q&A. And now the last thing I want to talk about is my YouTube. A lot of you may be watching me on YouTube, and I have a channel with a lot of videos, and over the years I've posted some info. A lot of them are just me talking about concepts that I experience in the real world working with clients. Anytime something I talk about has been applied, unrelated people tell me it's working and their dogs are happier and their lives are better because of it. So I like to share the information. And really, most of you have been great on YouTube. I'm getting more subscribers. We're actually almost at 1,000 now, which is pretty cool. People on my show, the Untrainables, who've been following and watching, you've been so positive and lovely. But once in a while you get people, leave a bad comment. And I don't have to get specific, but some of them, and maybe even right here, this whole episode we just did, people say, I have no idea what he's talking about. It makes no sense. Or he lost me at this point, whatever. This way of thinking is not always... It's a little abstract to relate to how something else sees the world, which is a problem many people have. So sometimes people have their own confirmation bias, their psychological schema, driving them to think or see things a certain way. And I talk about this in so many episodes, and so many other things that I regard. Even with my own clients, we talk about this, at least how it relates to dogs. And these are the first people who react in such a negative way, or they say such terrible things, that if they just maybe just open their mind a little bit, because a lot of these people are the ones, when you look at them, they come off as they are so good and spiritual, and they've got the dogs, and they're doing such great things in the rescue, and I love, and it is great. It's all feeling. But, when it comes down to it, you're taking someone whose words are genuinely, I've been doing this a long time. I say the same things verbatim in the real world with my clients I see every day as I do to you guys here. And again, most of you are taking this and it's helping you, and you're applying it, and you're asking amazing questions, and I want you to keep doing that. But I get these comments, and you can't control the trolls, right? But it's sad. It's not sad to me. I'm just going to delete you and block you. I'm not going to entertain you. But it's sad that people are so ignorant that when they don't understand something, they either try to learn more about it or ask an intelligent question, or they just want to seem like they're smarter than. And from what I'm seeing in the few people that have made these comments, I don't see much going on, And I go focus on your life and see what you're doing, and put some stuff out there. Put yourself out there. I'm doing this just to give free content for people who I might help a dog or two, other than the people I do, for my job. And it's just something I want to comment on. Because it's just sad that there's a lot of people that are thinking this way, where they have a feeling about something and they step in with they'll tell their doctor they know better because they have a gut feeling. Your inclinations aren't always right if you're not experienced and haven't walked the walk to chime in on it. So that's that. Anyway, let's wrap up here. Episode 33, Q&A. Don't forget, on iTunes, I need you to subscribe. I need you to leave a good review. I need you to share. I need you to share on social media, subscribe, all that. Go on my website, dogtrainingla.com. You can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/dogtrainingla. All of these places I give content at least once a week. I give on my Instagram at the Dog Savant. All of these places you can get some little bits of information, or these podcasts, just more to help your dogs. So spread the word. Let's help more people. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for listening. If you're on iTunes here. And again, always train your dog and love your dog. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.